A very good morning, class. Today we'll be starting with the next chapter of history, that is chapter number 7, Civilizing the Native and Educating the Nation. So, children, in the previous chapters, you all have seen that how the British policies affected the Rajas, the Nawabs, peasants, and tribals in the country. And in this chapter, we'll be looking forward for the condition of students. कि British rule के time, what was the condition of education, what was the condition of students. Now, for the Britishers in India, children, they not only wanted to control the country, वो country के ऊपर पूरा control नहीं चाहते थे, rather than they also felt that they had some cultural mission. They had a cultural mission. They had to civilize the native. Native means the people living in the country. So these Britishers, they realized that they have one cultural mission also, and that is to civilize the people of the country, change their customs and their values. But before that, the question was ki how these changes should be made, what changes were to be introduced, how the people of India could be civilized, and what Britishers could do to make people believe that these were the good subjects to study. So Britishers, they could not find any answer to these questions, and they continued to debate for many decades over this topic. Now let us look at what the British thought and did, and how some of the ideas of education that we now take for granted has evolved from last 200 years. The various things that we have in education, the various methodologies of education nowadays, we feel ki these have been same since many years, but actually they have been evolved, they have been changing since 200 years ago. Now, in the process of this, we will also see how Indians reacted to the British ideas, what were the reactions of the Indian people towards these policies of Britishers that they introduced in the country. So, the very first topic is the tradition of Orientalism. So, children, in 1783, a person named William Jones arrived in Calcutta. He was appointed as a junior judge in the Supreme Court of the company. Company ने एक Supreme Court set up किया था, and this William Jones, he was appointed as the junior judge there. This William Jones, in addition to become an expert and scholar in law, he was also a linguist. Now, who is a linguist? Linguist is someone who knows so many different languages. So this William Jones was a linguist. He had studied Greek and Latin at Oxford. He knew French and English. He has picked up Arabic from a friend and had also learned Persian language. Now, at Calcutta, when he was appointed as the judge, being in the city of Calcutta, he started spending many hours of his days with the Pandit community. He started spending his time with Pandits who taught him about the Sanskrit language, the grammar of Sanskrit language, the poetry that was there in the Sanskrit language, and soon he captured all the knowledge and he started studying the ancient Indian text on law, philosophy, religion, politics, morality, arithmetic, medicine, and the other sciences, because Indian texts were written in Sanskrit language because that was the language of India. So when he learned Sanskrit, he started going through these topics of Indian text. Then John, when slowly and gradually he met with different people, he discovered that his interest in Sanskrit was shared with many British officials who were living in Calcutta at that time. और भी बहुत सारे लोग थे जो इसी की तरह संस्कृत सीख रहे थे. Englishmen like Henry Thomas Colebrook and Nathaniel Halhed were also discovering the ancient Indian heritage. They were learning Indian languages and they were also translating the Sanskrit and Persian text of India into English. And together, all three of them, they set up their society, which was known as Asiatic Society of Bengal. And in that society, they started writing a journal which was known as Asiatic Researchers. Then Jones and Colebrook, they came to represent a particular attitude towards India. they all had a very deep respect for the ancient cultures of both India and West. वो क्या बोलते थे कि दोनों ही कल्चर अपनी अपनी जगह पर बेस्ट हैं, तो दे हैड लॉट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट फॉर बोथ. Indian civilization, they felt, had attained its glory in the ancient past but had subsequently declined. कि इंडिया में जो भी ग्लोरी है, it has come from its beautiful past, but with slowly passage of time something has got lost away, something has declined. And in order to understand India, it was very necessary that we rediscover the sacred and legal text. And this could only be done by revealing the various text, and on the other hand it would be helpful to the people of India also, as it would help them to rediscover their ancient culture. Then Jones and Colebrook, they went on discovering the Indian text and understanding their meanings, translating, and everything. They were trying to bring out the Indian text, the ancient Indian text, and in this process the Britishers, they became the guardians of the Indian culture as well as its masters. Then, influenced by all the ideas of Indian ancient culture, the company officials, they discussed about this, that there is a need to promote Indian culture in India rather than introducing the Western one. They felt that institutions should be set up to encourage the study of ancient Indian text, and Persian and Sanskrit should be taught in the school. The officers thought that Hindus and Muslims should be taught what they are already familiar with, what they have valued from so many years, rather than the subjects which they have no idea about. Then they also believed that the Britishers, they thought that this would help them to win a place in the hearts of the people of India, as it would be good if they respect the culture. If Indians would see कि Britishers are respecting the cultures, our cultures, so they will get to win over the trust of the people. Then, with the same objective in mind, the madrasa was set up in Calcutta in 1781. Madrasa is a Arabic word which means school or a college. So it was established in Calcutta in 1781 to promote the study of Arabic, Persian and Islamic laws, whereas Hindu College was established in Banaras in 1791 to encourage the study of Sanskrit text. And not all officials, but this was the view of a few officers, but everybody does not agreed upon this, and many officers were there who used to criticize these thinkings of Orientalist, the people who believed in the language and culture of Asia, जो ये मानते थे कि Indian culture जो है it is good. Those people were known as Orientalist. So officers, or the British officers who did not agree with these things, they started criticizing the people. Now, from the early 19th century, many British officials, they began to criticize the Orientalist vision of learning. They said that knowledge of the East was full of errors. कि इसमें जो ईस्टर्न इंडियन नॉलेज है, इसमें बहुत सारे एरर्स हैं. इट इज़ नॉन सीरियस एंड अनसाइंटिफिक. So they argued, they said that it would be very bad if we Britishers will spend our time and money making people learn this Arabic and Sanskrit language. James Mill was one of those who was against this Orientalist. The British effort, he declared, should not be to teach what natives wanted. वो बोलते थे कि we should not teach the people what they want to learn, what they respected, to just win over their hearts. The aim of education is to teach something useful and practical. So Indians should be made familiar with scientific and technical advances that are taking place in the West, rather than the old sacred poetry of Sanskrit. Now by 1830s, this argument of Orientalists become more and more, and one of the most outspoken and influential critics of that time was Thomas Babington Macaulay. He saw that this Eastern knowledge, this country is so uncivilized, and not even a single branch of Eastern knowledge could be compared with that of England. And he said that one single shelf of a European library was worth than the whole literature of India and Arabia. And he urged to the British government that they should stop wasting money in Oriental learning because it was of no use. And with great energy and passion, he emphasized the need to teach the English language. He felt that knowledge of English would allow Indians to read some finest literatures of the world, and it would also help in civilizing the people, changing their taste, their values, and culture. And on this effort, according to this effort, following this was Macaulay's Minute, which was introduced in 1835, and the decision was to make English the medium of instruction for higher education and to stop promoting the Oriental institutions like the Madrasa of Calcutta and the Banaras Sanskrit College. And English textbooks were also begun to be produced for the schools. After this, children, in 1854, the Court of Directors of the East India Company in London, they sent an educational dispatch to the Governor General of India. This was issued by Charles Wood and was known as Wood's Dispatch. It contained the outlining of the education policy which was to be followed in India. One of the practical uses the dispatch pointed out was economic. European learning, it said, it would help the Indians to recognize the advantages that flow from the expansion of trade and commerce and make them see the importance of developing resources of the country. They would introduce European ways to life, and the taste and desires of the people would change, their preferences would change, and they will start demanding British goods, and for Indians would begin to appreciate and buy things that were produced in Europe. Wood's dispatch also urged that European learning would improve the moral characters of Indians. They will become truthful and honest, which would be helpful for the Britishers because they will get honest civil servants to work on. The literature of the East was not only full of grave errors, but it could not instill in people a sense of duty and commitment to वर्क. उन्होंने क्या बोला कि जो इंडियन कल्चर है उसमें एरर्स ही नहीं है, बट उसके अंदर इतनी प्रॉब्लम है दैट इट डज नॉट गिव पीपल सम मॉरल वैल्यूज़. इट इज़ not having any moral values to taught. And following the 1854 dispatch, several measures were also introduced by the British. Educational departments of the government were set up and steps were taken to establish a system of university education. In 1857, while the sepoys rose in the revolt in Meerut and Delhi, universities being established in Calcutta, Madrasa and Bombay, attempts were also made to bring about changes within the system of school education.